right, it's another year. I got a different kind of hat on today. You can see, you know, I usually wear my Sherlock Holmes hat. See what I got right there? I appreciate you, Russ. Got off work early yesterday. I was able to get up here. It was amazing to get up here on a Friday, like at 7. We pedaled around, and I think we ended up getting up here about 7:30 because we stopped, you know, to get something to eat, and we stopped, you know, at the store, at a couple of different stores, and to get gas, of course. But anyways, come on with me. Let's see what we can do out here today. Let's get this little intro. And people's talking about there's not really catching much fish this year, is what I've been, you know, kind of hearing through the grapevine. And let's see what, you know, it's got me a little, not worried, but concerned. And I see the water's low right off the bat. That's not good. So let's see what happens. Boy, first cast. First cast. I'm on to a good little bite. It's like a brown. Wow, I mean, you can't do any better than that. Can't do any better than that. I was a little concerned. Man, what a pretty start. Maybe, you know, it rained a little bit this morning. Maybe he washed down in here. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you. My concern, actually, when people are talking about, you know, not catching any fish and all of that, they said they didn't stop, is what the people said. So they didn't. I heard that from multiple sources now, that they didn't stock fish this year, you know, in March like they usually do. Well, we know there was a big fish kill, or I'm sorry, the storm came through last, so I think it was in September or last fall sometime, one of the hatcheries, and it busted loose. It wasn't a kill, but a lot of the fish got loose and got into the, I guess they got loose and got into the, you know, the river that was close by, or maybe a bunch of them might have gotten killed. I just don't know. But my concern was more so not, because I don't target stockfish generally. My concern was getting here 2 weeks late after opening day. Let's see, I can't remember exactly what the date is, but it's Easter weekend 2022. And I just wet my first hook, and on the first cast I caught one. And I mean, I can't say anything better than what a good start. I mean, you know, I know it wasn't real exciting footage, to tell you the truth. I don't even think I was filming. Everything's just like me. I'll tell you, I almost feel like if I'd have everything in order, I wouldn't do anything. I'm out here. I don't have my camera set up right. You know, it's a long story. Maybe I'll, not a long story, but maybe I'll probably just cut out for now, but I'll retouch that in a few. Might have to go back to the car and switch cameras. But for some reason, this SD card looks like it's only got like 30 minutes on it. I guess, I don't know, I can't figure that out. I thought I had a good SD card, and evidently the one that I got is really one of the ones that don't have much data, doesn't hold much data. Anyway, that's a good start. Let's it's your boy Reed. Let's see what we can do. Cast number 2. Well, I'll tell you, things just went on it. First cast. I mean, you just can't beat that first cast of the season and you come back with one. I always have the debate, if you're, you know, if you're a watcher of my channel, you probably heard me say it before, if you're a religious watcher, which there's probably not many of you, just really watches all of my videos and everything like that. I doubt if anybody does. But one day maybe I'll get there, and you know, people who I don't even know and stuff will start watching my videos and, you know, do like I do on some and just dig into the, try to watch it, try to soak it all up, you know. I hope Revan does that. And that's my, I call him my nephew. It's my cousin's son. But anyway, he's about 5 years old now, I think, 4 or 5. Time just gets away from me. But what I was gonna say is what I often say is like that pretty fish that I caught on that first cast is I very often say I have the debate with myself if I could catch one like that, if I went fishing, if every time I went fishing I caught a limit of those fish right there, those browns that are wild brown, that's about 10 inches. And I think that one's a little bit better than 10. If I caught my limit of those every single time, would I be content not ever catching another big fish? And if I had to make that wager with, you know, myself or, you know, whatever, and I had the ability to do that, like, I think I'd go for it, because I don't know, I twist myself about it because it'd be terrible not ever catching any big fish. But those fish like that, I mean, you just can't beat it for eating. And I mean, how pretty they are and everything, those browns like that. I feel like it's the perfect fish. And I'll be cooking him for my, you know, me and my wife will cook that tonight. Usually I do the fish cooking. But she got some salmon the other day and cooked it up in a way in the oven that she really liked. And I got to thinking about looking at the red meat, and she said it was really good. I don't know if we bought the seasoning, but I wanted her to, if I don't cook it tonight, we'll cook it, you know, when we get home. And she really liked that salmon. I think she's gonna like that trout like that, cooked the same manner, hopefully better. Hopefully it'll be even better than the salmon. Well, I'm pedaling around here. Like I say, this, for some reason, this SD card has only got like 30 minutes. I'm gonna have to go back to the car and switch up cameras. So I'm gonna pedal here for a few more. There's a bite. It feels like a chub, perhaps. Barely ticking. Yeah, that's a trout. It's a trout. It's a rainbow. You know how I've said before, how they barely bite. Come on up here, buddy. Come on up here. Yeah, they barely bite. They bite like a chub a lot of times. A rainbow will. If you notice, there's a flaw on his side there. Now he's not struggling. Boy, don't let me get into the debate about catch and release and all of that today. But anyways, something's wrong with his side. I'm gonna have to cut that part out. I won't be eating that, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep him. I was talking about when stocking the fish. I told my friend, called me last night asking about it, one of my mentors. Look at him. He's got a something. It doesn't look as bad of a sore as I usually see when I see a sore on one, but I don't know if it's, it might have got stocked, it might have been from the hatchery, it might have been, I don't know what happened to this fish. I just don't know, man. Maybe somebody can tell me. Anyways, we're back at it. Let's see. To cast it over here, don't usually catch anything over this way, even though it looks just amazing. All the time I've always wondered, and you know, to tell you the truth, I probably, you know, if there would have been something here today, I probably spooked it. Because, you know, the shadow's going and the sun's come out. It rained this morning. They were calling for it might rain, you know, from this morning, say 5 o'clock this morning or so. And I think it did. I think they got that part of it right. I think it did rain this morning about 5 o'clock until maybe 8 or 8:30. They were saying it could linger on into, like 2 o'clock. But obviously it didn't do that. Here it is, it's 9 something and the sun's out. So I just checked my phone right before I walked down here and they said, you know, the rain's over for the day till Monday, and I'll be gone. I'll be back at work then. I don't know if you just noticed, I caught that rainbow just now. And I don't even know if this will make it on the cut of my video. I don't know how good editing I'll be and stuff, but I targeted that fish. I had a bite, you know, I felt him bite and I missed him, you know, and he got my, you probably saw that. You may or may not have seen that depending on how this video gets edited. You might not even hear this part because, you know, if I don't catch nothing on this probably might not be in the video. Unless I make a super long video. Anyways, I'm bad about just talking too much. There's another bite. There's another fish. It'll make it. It'll make it. I think this will make the cut. There's another rainbow. He back off. He's really fighting. He's he's smaller than the others. He's fighting. He jumped out for me. Hold on there, buddy boy. Hold on there, buddy boy. He just pop his neck now. He's not struggling. Humane. You'll hear me say it over and over again, but that's the way I roll. What I was going to say previously, so now that I can interject this part into my little video here, what I was fixing to say was I had a bite, I missed it. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, I'm sure you probably have, or probably everybody does this, I don't know, you know, night crawlers are too big for one bait, so I break them in half. Usually, a little more than half I use for the, you know, the head end of the night crawler. I usually use 3/4, 2/3 of it to make my bait. So that leaves you a smaller piece, not only because it's the tail end, but also it's not even half of what you started with. So what happens, and I've talked about it many times, what I do a lot of times, if I get a bite and I don't lose all of my worm, but it's been chewed on, they don't like a chewed on worm. So I'll add that piece to my bait, or if they took all my bait like happened just now on the previous fish, and I knew where that fish was, I could target where it was because I saw where the line was when I got the bite, I put that little piece on and go back in. I rarely target a new fish with a small piece of night crawler. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm hoping that makes sense. Like I say, this one here's a little smaller, but I'll say he's probably about 10 inches. I think the first two were a little bigger, maybe 11. But usually for a new fish, I'll use just a new piece of worm, and if I have a bite, a lot of times or sometimes I will target a new fish with 2 pieces of the small pieces. I'll put 2 pieces on. And if you don't have any more worms, you just have to do what you gotta do and just use a small piece anyway, but that's what I usually do. Cast it out again, going for triumph. If you notice, them 2 stalk rainbows were a little further back than the brown was. And what I'm hoping is that maybe there'll be even a better fish a little bit further up once I walk up that way. Because the browns, especially, even a smaller brown will get in front of a rainbow. But the the bigger fish are going to go to the front of the hole. Look at my shadow. It's terrible. That's a terrible thing. Can you see my shadow in the water there? That's terrible. It's terrible to lose a worm. Hang up on the bottom there. Well, I was here last, I guess it was in September, and right up above here I lost a pretty old fish. I never really saw it, I just saw a flash of it. It had some color on it, as a brown. It had to be at least 18 inches. On a spinner. He took my spinner and everything. Broke my line. I'm hoping there'll be a better fish right here on this cast. Or just, another fish, really. At least. Because I'm casting up there a little further than I've been casting. Well, nothing doing. Of course, when you catch 3 fish out of one hole, There's another fish there. It feels like a chub. There's probably another rainbow. They've gotten washed down here. Let's see. There he is. No, I think that is a chub. No, that's a little brown. Little brown. Now, it goes against what I just said. A lot of times the little brown will get in there and eat before the rainbows. Now we're in the catch and release debate. Well, I'm definitely going to release this size fish. I just don't want to touch him. It's just old gamakatsu. I guess it's still pretty sharp now. I lost my worm. There it is. So, what I can do here, if I can retrieve this piece of worm, which is proving not to be the easiest thing. There we go. There you go, I got my worm back. See the teeth marks? Even that little fish just tore up that worm, see? And this isn't the best, honestly isn't the best, but worms are expensive. And I'd say it, I've told the story before, I used to go and get my own worms when I lived up here. Now there's a good piece. That's a good half a piece. That was a big worm. That's one that you could use on its own. But I'll take a smaller piece like this and tip this. And now you got a decent bait because you got at least a piece there. I don't know. You got something to entice the fish. He can see the bait, and even if he sees those teeth marks, he'll still want it because that one piece hadn't been chewed on. Now brim or any kind of other fish, but fresh bass, I don't know. I know brim, that's the prime example. They would chew up that chewed up piece of worm, it wouldn't phase them. A trout won't eat a piece of worm like that. Not saying that they absolutely won't. I've caught them on them several times. It's just that's what I was taught, and I have caught them on just that several times. So what I said is wrong. They will eat it, but smarter, older fish and stuff, they don't like, they see those teeth marks and for some reason they just don't want it. I mean, it's just a fact, man. Anyway, I mean, I'll even tell you, I don't even like using this. But like I say, worms are expensive. $4 and it was $4.28. It was about $5 a pack. It was $4.28, I think, and it was $14.30 something for 3 packs last night. That's getting ridiculous, man. I harped about it last year, and I tell you what, I will buy them from that place in Canada. They will be cheaper there. But even if they were the same price, I just about buy them. And I went and asked the guy this morning. He's $3.09 now for 12 at a little side store. And I just about buy them from him rather than buying them from Walmart. Just because, and I've never been one of those people that just hates on Walmart and everything, but that's ridiculous, man. They're cheap, you know. I don't want to say they're cheating, but it's price gouging. They could sell those worms cheaper. They just want to be greedy. You know, it looks like I butt fished this hole out. I'm not surprised there was anything here, but I was concerned that probably, you know, people probably already hit this hole up pretty good. Because it's right here beside the road. Now I'm debating whether I should go forward or backwards. What that first fish, man? Look at that brown. He just do. I mean, what a start. What a start. And I'm gonna go backwards. I'll tell you why. Because I need to go get my camera. Got 20 minutes left on this SD card. I'm gonna have to assess that out, and then I have to figure out what's going on. So I'm gonna go back in for right now. I might even put a spinner on. Anyway, I'm gonna head this way now. I'm gonna start recording right here because it's a good looking hole. The line's caught up in the tree there. Well, my shadow is behind me, but I tell you, you know, if you've ever heard me say, I really hate fishing downstream. They have bad luck. I mean, it makes common sense, man. The fish just see you coming and all of it. I'll just jump on down off this. That on the way back. I'll fish back up on the way back through. I'm gonna come down here and sit on the rock and just chill out for a minute. Try to get a low profile. Might not be the best footage because I'm facing the opposite direction of what I'm gonna be fishing. And if you don't get your fish here, I think what I'm gonna do is switch this worm up. There should be something here. Can't believe my feet ain't soaked yet. Well, this is an odd scenario. I'm fishing back here. I'm sitting facing this way. Just trying to be a low profile here. If I get one on, I'll turn around. Try to film it. Old buddy came up there and saw me on the fixing to walk down here. Pulled over and talked to me. There's gonna be time to change this one off. I lost their jacket. Forever 21. Well, I don't know if you can see. This water's pretty deep right here. I've got some nice fish in here. I'm gonna change this worm off. Got something. I knew there should be something here. I usually catch a rainbow here. Let's see if I can land this fish. Alright, now that's not being very humane, him bouncing around like that, but I couldn't help it. Now he's not struggling. You never know till you get them in a lot of times. Sometimes you can see how they're hooked. I hear people saying that all the time. Probably Richard Jean. So he barely hooked, or he's, oh, I had him hooked good, you know, like when he's close to the boat and stuff.
was a stock rainbow. Alright, nothing to write home about, but it's fishing, you know. So I'm happy about that. I've repositioned down just a little bit downstream. This is a heck of a hole, man. I almost always hit something here. I think there's a fish in there. It's bound to be. Well, I fished it a little bit before I really started filming. It seemed like I would probably already had a bite. I very often get hung up in this hole right here. Well, one day. The most epic day I've ever had fishing was kind of started, the kind of epic part kind of basically started right here. And over here I kind of caught a little wild brown. And then I kept casting over there where I just now cast, which is not traditionally where I usually catch a fish, but the water was up that day. And I mean, I bet you I casted over there 20, 25 times because I just felt like there was a fish here. And my line kept getting downstream just like, you know, normal. But I don't know why. Usually I want to fish something that long. I don't know what persisted me. But I finally got down there where my line's going right now. Way down there. I ain't never caught another one there before. But like I say, the water was up that day. And I had a bite and I saw something flash and there was two fish. Big ones. I'll say big ones. I think it was about 16 inches. And caught the one, landed him, I released him, got it on film. It's in the archives. It's on YouTube. And then I cast it again, trying to catch that other one. I mean, I probably cast it 20 more times trying to catch him because I just knew he was in there. I was seeing him. I never could get another bite. And the time I stepped up past that big rock right back there where big rock right here. Time I was stepping, I was walking this way right here. And just to the right of that huge rock right there. That's where it had moved to. And I cast there, cast it upstream and it came back down to me. And it was on, I think it ended up coming back downstream in this hole that I just now passed. I think that's where I landed in down there. This is kind of a chub hole. There's usually a chub here, but I have caught trout here. This water is low. See where that stick is. A lot of times, big, sticks, logs, you get wedged up in this little section right here. But that's where I caught that second big one. It was right here. He was just right there. He come from way down there, like I say. And he went above the hole. That shows you how these fish can move. And obviously, you know the fish are gonna move, but this is their habitat, man. This is the fish's habitat right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna, don't think that they can't go wherever they want to and quick too, man. And all of that. Do whatever they want to right here, especially a big fish. You can walk up and down your hall at your house. You can walk in your backyard. You can run to the front door, do whatever you need to do. Talking about it like that. This is their house. Really and truly right here. Around casting. Oh, there's where I almost always catch one. But I didn't today. It's right here in this hole. In fact, I love that hole back there, and I almost always catch one back there where I caught those two that I was talking about. But time consistency wise, I probably have to say this hole right here is probably been a little better. as far as like almost always being a fish there. I was down here, I can't remember, it was last year. And I think it was that time when I lost that big fish on the spinner that I was talking about earlier, when I was further up above. And it wasn't a particularly good fishing day. I think I ended up kind of making the best out of it. It was just a long session. I think I ended up getting my limit, but I had to walk from here a long ways in it. I think I got here to where I started when I was facing the other way and fishing downstream or filming upstream. And I think I caught one, but I lost a fish. I kind of hit a little pattern there. I think I only ended up with one fish, but I think there was 2 or 3 of them in this hole that day. That was back in the fall. It's a weird hole, like, it's not a weird hole, but don't usually have to do it like this, but it's almost the type of hole where you could just sit here for, you know, a couple of hours maybe. Most of the holes that I fish aren't like that. You just come by 10 minutes and there's one there they're gonna bite, and, you know, whatever. This is a deeper hole. The fish might be a little finicky down there on the bottom and stuff. And it's so deep, and it's deep and swift, so it's probably kind of hard to get the bait presented to them. Got 4 minutes left to talk to y'all, man, until I get back and have to get my other camera. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on with this SD card. Maybe it's in the box. I don't know. I'm getting my GoPro weight when I get back up here. It ain't gonna be 4 minutes from now, but in time talking to you, it's gonna be 4 minutes if you even see these. Since there's no fish here, there's really no footage. It's just time that I was out talking to myself. What it boils down to. Whew. I think I about fished it hard enough. All right, y'all. Until we meet again. Have caught one here before, but not usually. Hey, I agree. Guess I'm gonna it's a minute left now, so just happened up on one of the prettier fish. I just went and got my other camera. Came back, same hole here. This bad boy right here just nailed it. Got some pretty cover on here. I've been on a little dry spell there for a while. Wild. I think that might be a wild one. That's my opinion. But I'm gonna tell you, I saw somebody posting on Facebook about, it was a silly post, but I'm not even gonna do it, but somebody said, oh man, a wild tiger trout, or something was like, if you get one of them, oh yeah, that's a wild fish right there. Said, if you get one of them, that's I can't remember, they said 7 inches or something. He was like, around here, 7-inch one of them is huge. Well, that's a healthy fish right there. There's my wife's supper. She likes the rainbows. They got a little milder taste, maybe. I don't know. Rainbow trout's hard to beat. I don't care who you are. I will cut that into 2-cent pieces. I'm gonna start baking and grilling a lot more fish. I started grilling really last year. Anyway. That was a good one. Way to get back on track. Probably one of the best looking holes I never caught a fish out of. I might have caught one here, but if I did, it's been years ago. Well, I always fish it, man. It's just a really good looking hole. I can't believe I hadn't caught more fish out of this hole. I tell you the truth, I really don't ever remember catching one, but there's one there today. There's one there today. He's in there. My line's got screwed up and I've lost my hook. I won't catch him without a hook. Oh boy. How in the world can you go and lose a hook? That was a good bite. We'll see what it, hopefully we'll see what it is. I don't know if that was a good bite though, I can tell you that. How in the world, I see how my line got tangled up, I just don't see how in the world I could have lost my hook. But I swear, if I'm not mistaken, I think I have lost my hook. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, I just came up on this hole and I was telling how I never caught one there. I got a good bite. I think this fish has moved back a little bit. I'm gonna try to get it without a split shot. I don't know what the significance in that is. I don't know why I'm really trying that. You know, I don't know. And I'm trying it with a scrubby piece of worm. And that's why I didn't want to put the split shot on, I'll tell you. Because I didn't want to get hung up. That was a good bite. And I lost my hook when I was trying to hook that fish. Way over here. Back around. I think that fish moved down a little bit. Oh my goodness. Come on out of there. That's why I didn't put a split shot on, honestly. Alright. Now that I'm walking all around all these movements. Oh, this is kind of a little island out here. Oh, I just can't figure out how in the world I lost my hook. I'm just stumbling and bumbling right now, man. Got tangled up in my creel. Quit playing and put a good piece of worm on there because I know that was a good bite. I don't want to play around. I was just talking earlier about how a lot of times when I go back in for one where I know I can locate it, I'll put a scrub piece of worm on, and that's what I did. I'm fixing to put a split shot on too. I don't know what in the world. I'm anxious to see what that was because it was a good bite. I mean, I don't want no big fish, but I think it might have been a 10-inch brown. There it is. Can we see it? I think that's exactly what it is. He might not be 10, but he's right on it. Just what I thought it was. Yeah, I'm gonna let him swallow it. Be humane with him. Oh yeah, he's got a throat full of worms. Look at that. Well, he's not quite as nice as I thought he was, but still, that's the type of fish I love right there. And I'm just so glad I was able to make it come together. After I told that there was a fish there, kind of told what it was, I thought it was. I ain't gonna get my tape measure out. He might be right at 10 inches. I want to say he's probably just a tad short. I think he's probably like 9.5. Let's see how good I am. Let's see how good I am with my tape measures and how I'm gonna see something. Let's see. I still have my tape measure. I did this last year and it's kind of a time waster, honestly. Don't see my tape measure. Don't know where it would be, why it wouldn't be right in here. Well, I've checked 3 pockets. There's only 1 more to go. There it is. Okay, let's see if I can get the camera to point at this. I'm saying 9.5. What an ordeal. Look at this little cheap tape measure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything because I don't know if I'll be able to get this tape measure out. I tell you what, man. Aggravation. Goodness gracious. I'm gonna make my point known right now. Make a mockery of it. Just trying to make a point here. Who's that? Yeah, tell you the truth. It's exactly 9.5. I started to say he was 10, but if you go to the middle of the tail right there, let's see. There you go. He's right at 10. He's 9 3/4. So I wasn't far off on the on my guess from the bite. I was right in that wheelhouse, and once in my eyeball judgment, said 9.5, so he's 9 3/4. I hope you can tell. It's kind of hard to tell that on the on filming this because it's hard to hold the camera, and man, the camera's on my chest mount. I try to point it at it, and once you get going with this stuff, everything's kind of small on the camera if you ain't holding it right up in front like that. So, but you can take my word for it if you want to or whatever. You know, he's about 9 3/4 inches. I like one just a tad bit bigger than that, just a little bit more meat on them. I like a 10-incher. And the only reason why I say this one here probably tastes a little bit better, but the only reason why I say I like the one a little bit bigger, like the first one I caught today, is because there's just a little more meat on his nose. So, you know, if you got 7 fish, you know, you can get a little more meat. You know, off of your limit. Feed a little more people. So anyway, I wondered, you know, about this hole right here, man. I've always thought there should be a fish on this hole. And to tell you the truth, like the size of that fish at 9 3/4, I don't know, I can get quite literal and too precise with things. But honestly, the way this water is now, I've seen this hole before. When the water's up, this hole right here looks like it could, you know, hold a bigger fish. But just the way this water is today, I think I'm gonna put a split shot on just because I can't feel my line too good. I did catch that fish without a split shot, but I think I'm gonna just switch back up. I'll put one. The water's so low. I was trying to, I've gotten hung up here before too, just like I did today while I was trying to catch that fish. What I was gonna say though is the way this hole looks today, size-wise, you know, and everything, I mean, it sounds silly to say, but it looks just right to hold that size of a fish. I mean, you know, it's like I could see a fish that exact size getting in that hole, being like, oh, this is, you know, a good hole for me. You know, plenty of roots and stuff for him to hide in there. And it's, like I say, it's not that deep. It's just swift. It's bringing food through. It's a great hole for a fish to probably get in there and eat. It might not be the best for long survival, only because it's close to the road, you know. And, you know, of course, they probably don't know that unless they're there for a long time and see people walking by or something. Then they might get wary. I imagine he probably didn't really stay there too long. Maybe. He might have wintered there, I doubt it. He's probably in a transition period. This is why I lost that big one last fall. That wasn't the last time I fished, but it was close to it. One of the last times I fished. If you want to see it on my YouTube, it's called The Agony of Defeat. Well, you can really tell this water is low today. I could tell it just walking anywhere, but just walking right up in here is a prime example of it for me, because usually I'm trying to keep from getting over my boots right here. I ain't even had to tug on them just yet. It's maybe coming to that right now. Yeah, that was a big transition fish. I guess he was headed to the river, and that's which way he went too. When back in September, when I was here and had the agony of defeat. Oh, that was a pretty fish, man. I didn't, like I said a while ago, I didn't see the whole fish. I just saw a flash of him. And he was, I don't want to say orange. I've seen him orange before. He wasn't orange, but he was close to it. He had a really dark yellow color, brownish yellow. And I thought that I had hoped that that would show on my camera, because I was filming it, of course. And I had hoped that that flash that I saw would have shown on the camera, but the reason why it didn't is because I was fishing a spinner. And it's kind of like what happened to me earlier today when I was downstream. When I'm spinner fishing, I have to turn my body back like this with my rod to get the spinner to react like it's supposed to. So, you know, now I'm just worm fishing and I'm just got the camera pointed straight in front of me. But when I was throwing that spinner, I'm turning my body like this, so my camera was pointing over this way. I was standing probably right about in the same exact spot right here. The water was a lot deeper that day. Oh boy. I'm in a tree. And I'm in a tree, and there's not even a way, there's not even a chance to get it loose. So I'll be back with you. I got to make a trek. Alright, I made my trek across. I'm hoping I can catch a fish right in here. You know, very often I do. Very often over the years I have caught one here. Lately I haven't done that good under this bridge. I just thought I'd say, I don't usually get on this side of the creek. I don't know what happened, if it was high water or what, but I was walking, I went upstream one day. One of the only times I've been over here on this side. I had gone upstream. When I fished in here, I caught one. But I went upstream, got my limit, and I was coming back, and for whatever reason I got on that side, you know, over here on the right hand side of this creek coming back down. And I think it was, there was stuff gets caught up on this bridge a lot of times. This hole has changed a lot. It used to be deeper right through the middle right here. In the last couple of years it's shallowed out for some reason, and that's probably why I hadn't really been having as good a luck here as I used to. It never ain't been a real deep hole, but it used to be a little bit deeper. And there's something. First time I'm gonna have to use my net. If I can grab it. I don't think I can even get my net. Oh my goodness. Well, it's clear that I'm out of practice, man. I don't know what's going on with my net. I have got it hooked on the... I have to use my net with my left hand, and it's hooked on... It's supposed to be hooked in the back middle, and it's hooked on the right hand side of my pants, so I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, he swallowed it. It's another pretty brown. And there I am. That's how I'm gonna die one day, probably, is my knife is just hanging there. I'll probably fall down one day and land on it. Stab myself to death out here on the creek. But what the story I was telling, I had gone way upstream. The story I was telling was how I'm hardly ever on this side of the creek. I had gone way upstream one day. Not way upstream, but I gone upstream from here, and I was walking back. Probably didn't go far, actually, because that's why I was probably walking back here instead of getting out on the road up there. But I was walking back through, and for some reason, I think there was something caught up over there on that piling over there, which was making the water like a deep hole on that side of the creek over there. And so for whatever reason, I said, well, I'm just going to get over here on this side, come back down. You know, I was on the left side. The way I'm standing here facing here was over here on the right side. So here's that fish. He's pretty little brown. He's probably about 10 inches. If that last one was 9 3/4, this one's got to be 10. He's a little bit bigger. But I walked back down on this side by these pilings over here to the right. And I was walking back down through here, and I guess I was walking too fast or something. And I just lost control of what was going on and just busted my rump. Like crazy, man. And I landed on a rock on my butt, kind of landed on. I don't know how. It's weird. I was falling forward and somehow I twisted or something and ended up turning back. And that's pretty. Now that's pretty. I don't care who you are. That's pretty. Ooh. Boy, I'm out here messing up. I'm making a comedy video instead of a serious fishing video, but I was able to get it. Oh my Lord. Oh boy. Anyway, I fell down and busted my rump. I got home like that Monday night or whatever. I was telling my wife about it. I think I maybe showed it. You know, I'm sure I showed it to her at one point. But boy, that put a bruise. I'm talking about a bruise. It was the size of a softball, probably. At least a baseball. On the side of my butt. And I took a picture of it. I got my wife to take a picture of it. And I sent it to my dad and showed him about how I was out here wading around too fast or something and got all screwed up. But anyways, that's one reason why I really don't like getting over here on this side. That's why when I got hung up in that tree, I said, well, I'm gonna make a trek over there. But anyways, that's pretty good. Let's save that one there and, you know, go over here and see my man. And say that's an advantage that, I guess that's an advantage that the 9 has. There's you can see the, you get a camera on the front when you're doing your selfie. You can see yourself in the screen. I noticed that earlier. That's something that's how little I've used the 9. Because I didn't even realize that when I was filming myself like this, that you could actually see the screen. I was doing it when I first started today, and I was noticing like I was moving myself into the right kind of light and everything. So I had a good picture on the camera. Well, I'm gonna get back on out of here, and hopefully I don't fall like I did that day being on this other side. I gotta grab my net and regroup here. So until next time. All right, just to wrap the day up here. I like to make one of these on the way home videos sometimes, Didn't get nothing big, but I got, what was it? I think I got, was it 4 rainbows? Yeah, I believe so. I believe I got 4 rainbows and 3 browns, which is kind of odd. As usually I get more browns. But anyways, I think one of the rainbows, I think the prettiest rainbow, I think it was wild, and the other 3 obviously were stalkers. I think all the browns were wild. And you know, the browns, you know, range from, I think the smallest one, I measured it out there, you know, you might see it on the video. It was 9 3/4 inches. It's about noon, 11, a few minutes till 12. So I have to say today was a success for sure. I mean, it's kind of it's like Pat used to say, it's kind of a tease. It can be kind of a tease, man. It's just, but anyways, water's low. It rained a little bit this morning, so I didn't notice that the water was really all that clear, like super clear. It was okay. It had, you know, I really didn't notice. To tell you the truth, I really didn't even notice. The water was pretty clear, but I think it might have had a tad of color in it just because it rained this morning. Anyways, this is the going home video. I don't even know if I'll put this on the thing. I'm just rambling on, really, just trying to make footage, just running my mouth. There's really nothing to talk about. It's Easter weekend. It's the day Christ is risen. Tomorrow. Keep that in mind. I need to you know, as simple as it is, I need to revisit my Bible, you know, and just reread that story so I can tell you, you know, so I can remember, you know, the way it went down. I think I'll do that. I believe I'll do that tonight. So I'm gonna be in the Bible. That'll be a good story. I might even watch it just, you know, to make it simple on me. I might even just watch it on YouTube. So, gosh, there's nothing to say. Like I said, I could just cut this video short right here. Got 7 pretty fish. About 10 inches. Like I say, that one brown was 9 3/4. I measured, I think that was the smallest one. Perhaps one of the rainbows was about that size, but other than that, it was all 10 inches or a little bit better. I mean, you know, between 10 and, you know, nothing wasn't, there might have been one that was 12. Matter of fact, the first brown I caught in the big nicest rainbow I caught, both of them might have been 12 inches. You know, if you measure them. Other than that, that was, you know, that was between 9 3/4 and 12. You know, 10 to 11 inches, and you know, pretty good steady fish. The one that was 9 3/4, he's a little bit on the lean side. But anyways,
he'd be good eating though. Still, I mean, like I was explaining on the video when I caught him, it was intriguing how I caught that fish. I lost my hook, and it's weird. Just got him out of a hole that I was talking about. That I never have caught one before. And I think back about it, I might have caught a fish there one time, a long time ago, but I definitely hadn't caught a fish there in years. I mean, and I always fish it because it's really always, I mean, I would just always think, I'm like, man, there should be one there. And I just, I wondered, and this might be the case, that hole is right beside the road. So it might be the case that, people just fish that hole hard, and there might have been time and chance. Could have been some times when I was coming by there and maybe would have caught one, but somebody had just been there not recently, and probably there might have been more fish in that hole. What I mean is there might be more fish in that hole, normally, than I was giving it kind of credit for, because like I just thought like there ain't never nothing here, even though it looks really good. Anyway, I'm running to the grocery store right quick, so 5 minutes here. Oh, one more thing I just wanted to mention. Anybody that this is probably kind of irrelevant, but I just thought I would mention it because we were talking about it. Me and my cousin, and my family and stuff. The other week we were talking about this. They were asking me about cameras, about my camera that I use and everything, and I was telling them, that I use the GoPro. Got a GoPro 9, but I kind of primarily been using my 8. And I will say that I was saying that I like the 8, but I tell you what, and I still do really like the 8, and but I do know that the 9 is better. I couldn't remember which one had the screen that comes off. Still don't know, even from looking at it. I'm gonna guess that it's probably the 9 is the one that has the replaceable screen. But I just want to say on the 9, I just noticed today when I was filming with it that there's when you're pointing the camera at yourself like I'm doing right now, there's a screen that you can see, kind of like when you're doing on your phone when you're doing a selfie or whatever. You can see what you're filming. So that is a big upgrade to me that I didn't realize previously about the 9. That I'm probably just gonna do more filming with the 9 now that I realize that, because that's when you're filming out, most of the time you're filming stuff away from you, it really don't matter. But if you're trying to do like this right here, it's a good advantage. So anyway, I'll sign off here and I'll catch y'all next time.